Panthers fan, back another NFL prediction video, and today I'm going to be predicting Week 15 of the NFL 2020 season in this video. And I also did want to let you guys know, if you watched that Monday Night Football game of the Ravens versus Browns, that was a very good game. I am a little surprised the Ravens came on top, but Trace McSorley getting hurt, and then Lamar coming out of the locker room like Superman, as I said during the game, just running out, getting out there, getting a touchdown for his team, giving them the lead. And then the Browns coming back and scoring, Justin Tucker getting the game-winning field goal. That was a crazy game. Probably the best game of the regular season so far this year, and possibly of all time, except for maybe that Chiefs-Rams game a few years ago with Patrick Mahomes and Jared Goff going crazy. Now let me know down below what your favorite team is, because we do have the playoffs coming up soon, and if you guys are looking forward to a playoff appearance for your team, a maybe playoff appearance, a really good draft pick, like if you're a Jets fan or Jaguars fan, or if you're like me and a Panthers fan and you pretty much are just like, do we win, do we lose? Because normally we'll try to win and then we also try to lose. So it's like, what do we do? Do we lose to get the draft pick? Do we win to have pride? I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. And with all that said, let's get into the Thursday Night Football prediction. So on Thursday Night Football at 8:20 p.m., we have the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Las Vegas Raiders in Las Vegas, Nevada. So in this game, I'm going to pick the Raiders to win because I like how the Raiders have been playing recently, and I just don't think that the Chargers get a win here. I just like how the Raiders are playing. I think Derek Carr will have a good game here. I think Herbert will also have a good game for the Chargers, but I think Derek Carr and the Raiders team is a little bit too much for the Chargers to handle, and the Raiders get another win and try to stay in the playoff picture in the AFC. We're going to have to see how the playoff picture plays out, but it looks like the AFC is going to be really competitive, so we're going to have to see how it ends up happening, but it looks very competitive with the wild cards, the divisions, number 1 seed. It looks very close and competitive throughout that whole conference in the playoff picture and playoff hunt, so we'll have to see how it plays out, but I think the AFC playoffs are going to be really fun this year to watch. Let's get into the Saturday games. First on Saturday, we have the Bills taking on the Broncos at 4:30 p.m. in Denver. So in this game, I'm going to pick the Bills to win. The Bills have been playing very well. They beat the Steelers, who only had one loss going into that game. They were 11-1, now 11-2. And I think the Bills overall have been playing great. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, just that whole team overall. Defense has been playing better. And I just don't think the Broncos really have been playing that well. I do know they got the win against the Panthers last week. The Panthers also haven't been playing great of late. So I just don't think that win really gives them enough momentum to beat the Bills at home. And I know Drew Lock did just come off one of his best games of his career, but I still think the Bills are a little bit too much for the Broncos to handle. The Bills get the win on Saturday. Let's get into the next Saturday night game. So on Saturday night, we have the Panthers taking on the Packers in Lambeau Field. So in this game, I'm going to take the Packers because the Panthers just have not looked that good. They've lost to the Broncos at home, one of Drew Lock's best games of his career, and I just don't think the Panthers slow down Aaron Rodgers in this Packers offense because Aaron Jones, Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, that's a lot to handle for the defense, and I just don't think the defense will be able to do it. I think the offense will be okay. At the time of filming, Christian McCaffrey is questionable for this game, so we'll see if he ends up playing. Even if he does play or doesn't, I think the Panthers do lose this game. Packers get another win, try to get that number 1 seed in the NFC, competing with the Saints and some other teams. But I do think the Packers get the win here on Saturday at home. Let's get into the next game. So on Sunday at 1 o'clock, we have the Texans taking on the Colts in Indianapolis. I'm going to pick the Colts to win this game because the Texans have been playing okay, but they just got destroyed by the Bears, and I think that should have been a closer game than what it was. So I just don't like how the Texans have been playing, and I'm going to pick the Colts to win because the Colts have looked like a very good team, and I think they get a win here against the Texans. So Colts win at home. Let's get into the next game. Next, we have the Lions taking on the Titans in Tennessee. So I'm going to pick the Titans to win here because the Lions have been playing okay. They did compete with the Packers last week, which was very impressive, I would say. But I do think they're just not good enough to beat the Titans because the Titans have been playing pretty well this year. And I think Derrick Henry has another great game here against the Lions. And the Titans get another big win, stay in contention for that possible number 1 seed in the playoffs, and trying to still win their division over the Colts, so we'll have to see how that goes. But I do think that the Titans get the win here. Let's get into the next game. Next, we have the Bears versus Vikings. So in this game, I'm going to pick the Vikings because I know the Bears did just come off a big win, but it was against the Houston Texans, and their defense is really not the greatest. So I'm going to pick the Vikings to win here at home, but I would not be surprised if the Bears win, but I am going to pick the Vikings. Let's get into the next game. Next, we have the Seahawks taking on football team. So Seahawks not played well against the Giants 2 weeks ago, played pretty good against the Jets last week, and now they're taking on football team. I think this is going to be a very close game, and I am going to pick the Seahawks to win this one in Washington, D.C., but I think it's going to be a very close game, very entertaining, but I do think the Seahawks get the slight edge in Washington. Let's get into the next game. Next, we have the Patriots taking on the Dolphins in Miami. So I'm going to pick the Dolphins to win this game because they got 3 interceptions on Patrick Mahomes. And going into that game, he only had 2 on the whole season. So the Dolphins defense played pretty good against the Chiefs offense. They did come out on the losing end, but they gave a really good fight. And that's what I expected to happen, to see the Dolphins give a really good fight, but not be able to beat the Chiefs because the Chiefs are just a little too much for them. But I do think they can beat the Patriots here at home because the Patriots are not nearly as good on offense as the Chiefs. Chiefs are one of the best offenses in the NFL, if not the best offense, with Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Le'Veon Bell, etc. I'm not going to name everybody, but you get the point. It's a really good offense. The Patriots' best receivers, probably Jacoby Myers and Damiere Byrd. And you guys might not know who those receivers are because they've been doing good this season for the Pats, but that should not be your top 2 offensive threats other than Cam Newton if you want your offense to be really good. So that's why I am going to pick the Dolphins here because I just don't like how the Pats offense is really assembled. They just don't really have many weapons, and I just don't think this Patriots team is playing that great overall. So I am going to pick the Dolphins to win, and the Dolphins are going to be trying to get the Patriots away from making another playoff push, but we'll see. They could win out after this game, and maybe the Patriots make it tiebreakers or something. So I picked the Dolphins to win here in Miami. Let's get into the next game. Next, we have the Jaguars versus Ravens in Baltimore at 1 p.m. So I'm going to pick the Ravens to win this game because they just came off that huge win against the Browns on Monday Night Football in that very entertaining game. And also, the Jaguars just have not been playing good recently. They have not won since week 1, and I just don't think that changes here. The Ravens are a very good team. Lamar showed he still has some of that MVP form from the last game, and I think he carries that over into this game, has a really good game against the Jaguars, and the Jaguars just take another loss on this year and get closer to possibly getting the number 1 pick. If the Jets can decide to get a win at some point, then maybe they get the number 1 pick. So I am going to pick the Ravens to win. Let's get into the next game. Next, we have an NFC South matchup with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. So in this game, I'm going to pick the Bucs to win because I like how the Buccaneers have been playing recently. Tom Brady's been playing pretty good. I think that whole offense has been playing good. So I think they get a huge win here against Atlanta, and Atlanta loses another game, and then Tampa gets another win. Let's get into the next game. Next, we have the 49ers versus the Dallas Cowboys at 1 p.m. in Dallas. So in this game, I'm going to pick the 49ers to win because, yes, the Cowboys did come off that big win against the Bengals, but I just don't think they can beat the 49ers like they beat the Bengals. The Bengals really aren't that good right now. They don't have Joe Burrow, and without Joe Burrow, that offense really isn't too good in Cincinnati. Also, I think this 49ers defense is better than the Bengals defense, so it's going to be harder for the offense to move the ball, I think. So I think overall the 49ers get the win here. Might be a low-scoring game because I don't know if the 49ers offense is going to put up a ton of points, but we'll see. Maybe they will. But I personally think this is going to be a lower scoring game, and the 49ers are going to get the win here in Dallas. Let's get into the 4 o'clock games. So first at 4:05, we have the Eagles taking on the Cardinals in Arizona. So in this game, I'm going to pick the Arizona Cardinals to beat the Eagles because, yes, the Eagles did just come off that big win against the Saints last week, number 1 seed in the NFC. But I just don't think they beat the Cardinals because the Cardinals have Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, etc. The Saints were playing without their starting quarterback in Drew Brees. They were playing with Taysom Hill. But Cardinals still had their starting quarterback in Kyler Murray, and he's really hard to slow down. So I just don't think the Eagles get the win here. But I think this is a very close game. Eagles stay in it right to the end. Might come down to a last possession game, but I do think that the Cardinals get the slight edge in this game. Let's get into the next game. Next, we have the New York Jets taking on the Los Angeles Rams at 4:05 p.m. in LA. So in this game, I'm going to pick the Rams to win because the Jets are 0-13. I don't think they're going to be able to beat the Rams. Rams are really good. Their defense has been playing really good. I just don't think this is the week the Jets get the win. If they get a win this season, I don't think it's this game. And I think the Rams get another win. Trying to win the division in the NFC West. We'll see how it plays out. Seahawks are playing pretty well. Cardinals are playing pretty well. So we'll have to see if they can win that division. Or if the Seahawks win, we'll have to see how it all plays out. But I am going to pick the Rams to win and try to stay in contention for that NFC West division title. Let's get into the next game. Next, we have the Chiefs taking on New Orleans Saints in New Orleans at 4:25 p.m. So this game, I'm going to pick the Chiefs to win because I think the Chiefs offense is just too much for that Saints defense to handle. And I think the Chiefs defense will be able to slow down the Saints offense just enough so that they get the win. And we do not know if Taysom Hill or Drew Brees will be playing at the time of filming this video. There's a chance Drew Brees plays, but there's also a chance he won't be healthy and they have to wait one more week. So we're not 100% sure at the time of filming. But I'm going to pick the Chiefs regardless. And let's get into the next game. So on Sunday Night Football, we have the Cleveland Browns versus the New York Giants. So I'm going to pick the Browns to win this game because the Browns barely lost to the Ravens at home. It was a really close game. It came down to whoever had the last possession won, which was the Ravens, and that's why they won. But it was a very close game, and I don't think the Giants are as good of a team as the Ravens, so I think the Browns get the win here on Sunday Night Football in New York, and I think the Giants try to stay in this game, but I don't know if they'll really stay in it because the Browns are a really good team, and I think the Browns win this game by a lot. The Browns win this game, but I don't think it's by a ton, but I don't think it's by like not that many points. I feel like it's a good amount of points, maybe like 10 or so, but not like a ton of points, like a huge win, maybe like 10 to 17, I would guess, somewhere probably around that range, and Browns get a win. Let's get into the Monday Night Football. So on Monday Night Football, we have the Steelers taking on the Bengals in Cincinnati. So Steelers on a 2-game losing streak, and I think that losing streak ends here, and they beat the Bengals in Cincinnati, because I just don't like how the Bengals have really been playing since Joe Burrow has been injured, and I don't think they get a win here against the Steelers, because the Steelers have been playing pretty poorly, and then they got their 2 losses, and they've just been playing poorly in those games. So ever since about their last 5 to 6 games, the Steelers have been playing really bad, even though they've been getting some wins, except for the Jaguars game, but that's because the Jaguars aren't a great team. But other than that, they've not been playing that great recently, and then that's why they've lost the last 2, and I don't think they lose 3. I think they get a win here and try to win the AFC North over the Browns, and that extends them to 12 wins on the year. Bengals take another loss on the season, and just wait until next season when Joe Burrow comes back and hope they can have a really good year next year with Joe Burrow. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you're not following me on Instagram, go follow me down below because I make stories up there of all of the most up-to-date sports news. So if you want to follow me down below, there's a link in the description. And thank you guys for watching. If you disagree with any of my predictions, let me know down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.